Today's the day we are finally lowering this guy, my G80. And boy, oh boy, you guys have no idea how excited I am for this, because I have just been monster trucking for way too long. I have been shedding a tear every time I put my head down on the pillow every night before bed, just thinking about how high that ride height sits, having nightmares about putting my full fist in the front fender gap. Fellas, I cannot bear the pain anymore. I had to do something about it, and that time has finally come. And you see, it wasn't easy for me because there is so many options suspension-wise you can go with. The question was, do I go coilovers like a KW V3, which is very expensive? I mean, you're looking at about $3,000. Do I go with a height adjustable kit to where it's springs, but I can adjust the height? And that option's a little bit cheaper. Usually you can get them for like $1,000 or so. Or do we just go with springs that are at a set height and pretty cheap? We're talking $300-400. So I pondered for a while to figure out what I wanted to go with. Coils didn't make much sense just because, I mean, I don't really need those. I think it'd be a little bit overkill. The height adjustable springs are nice and all, because if you guys didn't know, the KW Haas kit or height adjustable spring kit is actually what they use for the MPP performance suspension, or the M performance suspension from BMW. So that option would basically be the most OEM plus. But you see, that kit's still $1,000, and I'd have to tinker with ride height. So that's where I stumbled across this option, which, fellas, I honestly think is the best on the market for what you get. I think it sets the ride height absolutely perfect, and it only cost me $360. Let me show you. I mean, I think you guys already have an idea of what it is. It starts with an A, has an S, and finishes with a T, because fellas, we are going with the AST springs. And we have some other goodies in here. I don't know if you guys know what this is or not, but trust me, if you're gonna be lowering your car, the last thing you need is for a rock to bust straight through that oil cooler. So we got ourselves an oil cooler guard from Bimmer Network. And then, you know, we can't have springs, obviously, without some spaces. So we went with the Burger Motorsports lightweight spacers, and I think these guys look awesome. I mean, look at that. Quality seems really good. I'm doing 15 millimeters all around, and I think the fitment is going to be perfect. So fellas, there are the goodies, and you have no idea how happy I am. I mean, this car I wanted to lower so bad. It's just stock ride height. It's not too bad. I mean, you know, we do live in a treacherous part of the country, you know, lots of terrain, lots of mountains, lots of off-roading. So, you know, the overland spec is pretty nice. I mean, just look at this. Oh, that's crazy. What is that? 3.5 fingers in the front. And then the rear, you know, sits a little bit lower from the factory. We're about a 2-finger gap. Anyways, the AST springs are actually gonna bring this gap down to just 1 finger in the front and the rear, which is going to absolutely transform this thing. Just take a look at it now. Remember what that looks like. I gotta remember, because obviously this is the last time we're gonna be on OEM suspension. So, you know, I just gotta take a moment to cherish the OEM ride height right now, because this is probably the last time it's ever gonna be like this. You just need a moment of silence for the M3 monster truck, overland build, all-terrains. I mean, I could probably put all-terrain tires on this thing right now. I mean, fellas, with this ride height, we could be rocking some like Falcon off-road, NT, whatever I have over there, KO2s. Besides the fact, the only thing I'm worried about is just this front lip scraping a little bit, but that's fine. I mean, that's what comes with the cons of lowering a car, is obviously lower ride height equals more chance to scuff stuff up, but I think it should be fine. That's why I'm not worried too much now that we have that oil cooler guard, just so then I have the peace of mind when it comes to hitting a rock or any other thing. So I don't know about you. I think it's time to fire this guy up and go get these installed. Remote start time. I think I have valves still open. I think I do. She wants to get lowered. She wants to get lowered. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. If you didn't already know, we do have a 4-inch single mid pipe as well as a valve controller. And I feel like those are just solid mods for this platform. We got the sound variant, but now we gotta have the aesthetic variant. We gotta have the looks. We just got our MP style front lip put on, the carbon one. That already added a nice little touch aesthetically, but now that we have these springs, It's gonna be all buttoned up. It's gonna come together so nice. I also am a little nervous about the install just because AST springs, I know the first gen ones did have issues with creaking and rattling and just not a very good ride. I think they've definitely fixed that and addressed that. I mean, we're not gonna know until we put them on. So that's probably the only part of me that's just a little bit nervous about this install. Just anytime we're taking off suspension components or stuff that involves a little bit more than like your typical install, you know, there is a part of me that just is like, I hope it goes well and, you know, we're gonna have no issues with it, but I don't think we should. I mean, I'm a believer. I'm also planning on doing the CS flash. If you guys don't know, you can actually take the M4 CS, M3 CS flash and throw it into the TCU on this car, which is sweet. With springs and the CS flash, I think the setup is going to be so aggressive. It's gonna ride way stiffer, or it should. Shifts will be a lot faster, dampening will be a little bit better. Overall steering feedback should be more refined. I think it's gonna be a great combo with the springs. I think it's gonna completely unlock them. So that's something also to look forward to, fellas. That'll probably be in the next, 1 or 2 videos. Gonna be way different once we're on those springs. Hitting driveways like that, we gotta be extra careful. It's been a minute since we've been pretty low. Well, here we are, Redmond Automotive Care Experts. Check it out, the last look at her with the monster truck height. Oh baby, it's gonna be a completely different car, I'm telling you. The aggressiveness is about to unlock. If you guys haven't seen what AST springs look like, you're gonna be in for a treat. So make sure you don't go away, because this thing is gonna look, I mean, I've said it so many times. So classy, so dialed. It's No, everybody's lowered. I'm like the only guy that. Yeah. Overland edition. Yeah. First, I think we're gonna tackle the oil cooler guard. And I think we might be able to just slip it in because as you guys can see, look at, we're not even lowered and we still have some damage here just from rocks, just random debris hitting. So there might be a way to sneak it in right through this area. I think we're just transferring the clips right now from the old one onto the new one. But yeah, man, oh, this is why you need one of these guys, especially if you're gonna be lowered. It's gonna save your life because BMW surprisingly does not cover damage on that from warranty. So you would be pretty much out of luck, even if you didn't even plan on something like that happening, which is kind of a bummer. So there is the single mid pipe. You guys see that, Miltech, and then it looks like I hit something plastic. So we're thinking maybe a grocery bag. You guys see that? How it's like caked all on there. Pretty wild, but anyways, cooler guard is all in. Nice, easy install. We didn't have to take the bumper out and looks pretty good. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. And we're gonna have pretty good peace of mind now. Obviously, you know, when we're driving down the road and if I decide to go off-road with this guy, I'm not gonna have oil, you know, leaking for a mile. So I think it is now time to do the springs. But before that, we're gonna try and see if we can get this pesky 8 mil right there to finally get this bumper firmly attached. You guys saw my install vid for that lip. I gave up on that 8 mil just because I did not have the tools, and without 2 people, it is so difficult without taking off the bumper. So we're gonna see if we can chip away at that. If you guys are unaware of this kind of bumper system, I mean, any 3-piece, whether it's Vorsteiner, MP style, there's a little 8 mil that sits right inside there, right here, that is just so hard to get. I was able to do it from the bottom. You know, it's still on there. I mean, this guy's not going anywhere, but just for peace of mind, we're gonna see if we can get in there and get that guy taken care of. We just started the spring install. Fellas, I'm nervous excited right now. I think that's the best way to describe it, just because this is the first time these bolts have been broken loose since factory. Obviously, we're messing with suspension components, so, you know, there's a lot that goes into it, but a part of me is also excited because it's like, I'm so hyped to see what it's gonna look like once it's lowered, once it has the spacers on. It is gonna be a completely different car. It's gonna be how the car should have came from the factory. No more Overland edition. If you haven't seen them yet, these are what the springs look like. The famous kind of orangey red. It's kind of like the Fiesta wear. It's a super easy flip flop. We're basically just taking off those little, what is it, the collar, right? It's called a collar.
Yeah,
I think it's called a collar. Something like that. Yeah, the rears are super easy. I know the fronts, there's a couple things that like unplug and because the...
Yeah, you gotta drop the whole strut out.
There's like the ride height, or not the ride height, the headlight level sensor. There's the EDC sensor. Yeah, you don't really have to do that on this guy. So I'm now gonna clean off some of these hubs right here just to make sure that the spacer will properly sit on there. So I got a little Scotch-Brite pad. Here are the spacers. So you guys saw these earlier, nice lightweight ones. They have like some anti-seize stuff in there. So I just wanna clean these up. I'll probably use some window cleaner, Windex. That way they can be nice and shiny, nice and pearly for these spacers to be put on.
So my dad pretty much...
Yeah, look at that.
They are machined a little big, but you're fine.
It's okay. Oh yeah, look at how much more it sticks out.
Yeah, it's
15 mil is so, it's crazy. It's such a small amount, but it makes such a big difference. Yeah, the 15 mils, guys, see that? 15 millimeter spacers. Look at that. Just a sneak peek. It's gonna tuck perfect. Oh my gosh, it's gonna look so good. And then the studs, you guys can see plenty of thread left, so nice and safe, but oh man, these are gonna be so money. So we got the rears done. Now for the front, now for the fun part. Fellas, this should be buttoned up before you know it, and we are gonna have a nicely lowered G80. I can't wait. We finally got the front spring on the front coil, and it turns out they must have changed their stuff, but the orientation now, the text is up. Because the issue is the collar won't even fit on if you flip it, and then you can't even get this to sit. Turns out, I went through some forums again, the manufacturer just stated whatever fits, basically. Like the orientation of it going in, it should feel like it fits. So that's definitely what happened with this, with the text up, but the rears, we still had the text upside down. So guys, I don't know what to tell you, it's a complete nightmare with that, but the rears went in nice and solid. So they seem like we put them in the right way, and then the fronts, they're also seeming solid. So we haven't dropped the car yet, but yeah, from our experience, fronts, text is up, the rears, text is down. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. They look all nice. You can see, check it out. That guy up in there, I know it's pretty dark. And then our fitment again is looking nice and dialed in. I did get this guy cleaned up for that spacer on there, but overall pretty easy install, and you can see how it perfectly sits right there where it's supposed to in that collar, and then same thing with the top. So I guess fingers crossed, once we drop it we'll know, and then hopefully I won't get any like rattling or clanging. I guess that's what people have stated happens when they're not installed properly, but it seems like we're doing it the right way. Only time will tell. All right guys, well, it's all buttoned up. We are going to get it off the rack, pull it out. He's just finishing up torquing down the wheels. I can already tell it looks so much crazier. We did notice in the rear, the tire is a little bit offset, like the poke, but we think this might be just how it settled coming down from the rack. So we'll see once we actually pull it out. And then also too, it could be like an alignment thing. Definitely we'll get that figured out and fixed, but already it is so much lower than the OEM. And obviously it has to settle a lot more too. So probably after 2 weeks or so, it should settle, and then that's when we will get the alignment, because I want the car to actually settle before we align it. That way we're not just aligning it and then driving, and then as they're settling, you know, the alignment to be off again. But just from the rear, man, look at how much more aggressive it looks. Holy moly, look at that. So much lower, such a better stance, presence on the road. I'm hyped, man. This is gonna be sweet. Back it out. We're gonna go for a quick drive around the block just to have it settle a little bit more, and then that way we'll see what the finished result looks like.
It looks so much better.
Oh, it's so much lower, and it's gonna settle a little bit more too.
Yeah, it should settle right onto your tires.
Just took it for a quick lap around the block. I can already tell you, man, you just take a look at this. Oh, so nice. Oh my gosh, it's like the car is completely transformed. It just looks so much more aggressive. And this is right after the springs were put on, so it's still probably gonna drop maybe a quarter to half an inch, which the ride height is gonna sit perfect. It is going to be, that doesn't even describe it right there. But I think the 15 mil spacers are perfect. You can see kind of our poke. It's pretty flush, and then the camber looks so good. Oh my gosh, there's so much more negative camber. So overall, these springs, I am very, very happy, very satisfied. I mean, 350 bucks, you cannot beat this. Just look at that. So much more aggressive stance as well from the front, how much lower it sits. Overall, this car is transformed. It doesn't even feel like the same car. It doesn't even look like the same car. And even doing a little lap around the neighborhood, I can already tell because of the improved negative camber, it just feels so much more snappy, so much more precise, which is exactly what I was looking for. I can't imagine what the CS Flash is gonna feel like on a setup like this, especially once I get in alignment, I get the camber properly adjusted. It is going to be a very, very sweet setup. So fellas, I think it is time to go get some Chipotle, but on our way, we'll see how this thing drives. The first test, it's been a minute since I've driven a lowered car. We made it. Mission success. So we're gonna head to Chipotle right now. I'm starving. Oh yeah, these springs feel pretty good. So we'll put this puppy into sport. We'll do a little pull real quick, just to see how these springs feel. Oh, sport, they feel stiff. It's not like crazy difference, but there's definitely difference in stiffness, which is pretty cool. So I mean, that's what I want. So it feels way more mechanical. All right, here we go. Windy, baby. Yeah, the responsiveness already feels so much better. It just feels so much more stable, so much more pointed. I'm just seeing if I hear any weird sounds or creaks or binding. All right. Yeah, man, it's crazy how much more like tight the steering feels. The CS Flash is gonna be nuts. If it already feels this much heavier, which maybe it's just because I'm driving with one hand, you know, you don't know, but the CS Flash should really, really get this guy dialed in. Our alignment is just slightly off, but obviously we removed a bunch of parts suspension-wise, so that's usually what happens. I know this car is gonna get so much more looks though now that we're lowered. Let's be honest, I've been looking at it more. I can't stop looking at this car. The guy in front of me just gave me the thumbs up. I missed it, I didn't get it on video. Right after I said that, the dude literally threw, actually it was an OK. He threw up an OK symbol out the door. That's so funny. Guys, I'm telling you, this car looks-wise, it's night and day difference. It went from Grandpa Mobile to certified stunner, or whatever I can think of. Oh, I just love how much stiffer it feels. Yeah, guys, AST springs, so far they get the thumbs up. They are valid. I'm very picky about parts for cars and feel. So, I mean, based off my overall impression after driving this guy for maybe 5 minutes, I really like how it feels. And we're not even fully settled yet. All right, we're gonna get some Chipotle, and I'll see you guys back at the cribbo. There's definitely also at full lock rubbing going on with the fins, even with the Michelins with 15 mil spacers, which is crazy. I thought people were saying they didn't have any issues at full lock with rubbing, but we definitely have rubbing. So I'm probably gonna have to get some heat gun, you know, some kind of razor blade action and just shave those a little bit. I think over time though, they'll naturally kind of, you know, take material off, kind of shave them down. So I don't know, but it is kind of embarrassing and it is loud going in reverse. Chipotle secured. I think it actually settled a little bit more since going in there. Hold on, let me get this polarizer. Nice. Yeah, I think it's set just a little bit more. Look at it on this side. This side is money. Oh, guys. Come on now. I don't think I've been this hyped about suspension since never. Because the springs on this car even get me more hyped than doing the coils on my G20 or my M340i. Because, I mean, you cannot tell me that does not look so good. All right. We're just going to keep driving and keep settling this bad boy. Here's the final look at this guy with the lowering springs. And I gotta say, I am very, very happy. I'm very satisfied for the price point, but already I can feel the benefits. I can feel the difference just in a little bit different spring rate, and obviously it being lower center of gravity. It feels great. So fellas, comment down below if you would run the AST springs. I honestly think this beats coils for the price and performance. I mean, obviously coils have better performance and you can dial them in more, but I think price per dollar, you cannot beat this. I mean, 350 bucks once again gets you a stellar look. So fellas, stay tuned. We got lots of more fun stuff planned. We'll be doing the CS Flash here very shortly, and that's gonna bring this car to the next level. And then before you know it, we got autocross coming up in about 2 weeks. So we're gonna be putting this thing to the test. Appreciate it once again, guys. Much love, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.